welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and we're playing through HEXplore It, the Valley of the Dead King. This is Volume 1 of the HEXplore It system. The second one, The Forest of Adrimon, is currently on Kickstarter and churning along just fine. And hopefully during this playthrough, this will help you guys decide whether this is something you're interested. Again, this is the first volume, which has already been produced and is out in the wild, and a number of Kickstarter backers already have this from the original Kickstarter. So we're going to be picking up where we left off in the last video. There's a few things I want to mention. The major one is there is a pinned comment in part number 1. If you want to see any rule corrections for the last video or anything FYI in terms of for your own information, just jump back to part number 1. And you'll find a pinned comment that I've created that essentially has all the edits to the video that need to be done in order to get this thing in sync. So there was only a couple things that I noted that basically were important going forward in terms of the rules, and then some things on the side that are just nice to know. I'm going to mention them really quickly here, but not go into major detail. So the first one was in terms of buying rations. Now, on the Guardian, how rations work essentially is you have a food rating, and my food rating is 1. You are only allowed to buy up to your food rating times 5. So I could only ever carry 5 on this particular character. And as you can see right now, I'm at 8. It might be very faint to see there's a 10 there, and I'm at 8. I've consumed 2. So we have to knock this all the way down to 5 and then reduce it 2 more from there, because that's where it should have, this is where it should have been starting our journey. And then we consume 2 from here, bring it down to 3. So there we go. Now the Guardian's set, and as you can see, that definitely makes the Guardian a little bit more of a food consumer. We're going to need to get some food on the Guardian as quick as possible. Now over here, the Summoner, on the other hand, has a 2 for the food rating, so because the Summoner has got some lucky rolls when using dice in order to try to find food, which was coming from the survival blue die, hasn't had to consume much food, and so has all 10 rations still there. So that's the food kind of mistake. But now you guys understand that one. The other one is when I rolled a hex on the phase beast. So we had a phase beast come into play where the Summoner was up here and I controlled it. And at one point I rolled a hex, and the hex on that particular card stated that I'd pull another circumstance card, which would be another character would come out. And essentially, as you can see, there's one over there called the Plague Beast. That card would have actually come out during combat, and even though the wording's a little funky, it would have come into combat as another summon for the Summoner. So that's right, like even your summon can summon more monsters to your aid. Again, the wording on the card is a little wonky because of course you're using an enemy, but you have to ignore that. But that's something you guys should know. Another thing as well was just about some damage in terms of total damage that my Summoner, Summoner's Invocation could have done. So it could have been a little bit more powerful than I thought it could have been, and I'll let you guys go back to part 1 and check out that pinned comment to understand that fully. The FYI, or for your information stuff, is challenges on quests are optional. So for instance, when you look at quests like this and it says the word challenge, this you do not have to do. You can do it if you want to. So I made some choices at the beginning of the game based on thinking that those challenges were required if you're going to go ahead and use the card. They're not. They're optional. The second thing that's interesting to note is the die symbol on the Summoner's character sheet is for use with the level 6 summoning circle. So when we were talking with this right here, this, even though it looks like it's part of Invocation down here, it's actually a result of being a level 6 part of the summoning circle. So don't worry about this, and I'm glad I kind of skipped over it and passed it when we were dealing with it in battle. And the other thing we already talked about, or if I haven't already, is the Pleasant Weather card. Now, at the end of the last video, I put a die up there, and I had a 4 on it. That's not correct at all. So when that card comes into play, it doesn't just go into effect right away. I still have to roll it as a circumstance. I'd have to get a 3 in this case, as that's what position it's currently in. And if I do, then it would become active at that particular time. Another thing to note, and this is it, that's basically everything that I put in that pinned comment, so we can move forward now. One major thing that's worth talking about is the fact that our heroes now are moving at a speed of 5 when moving normally and 2 when moving cautiously. Why is that, you ask? Because at the end of the last video, we went ahead and picked up reliable mounts. And because we now have reliable mounts, it increases your group's movement rate by 1 hex per turn. This is including moving cautiously, as I just mentioned. And there's only 1 available per game. So we've got it. So that's fantastic. So we're going to be able to move a little bit faster, which is never a bad thing. Let's begin the round. So we're starting off with movement, but just before we do anything with movement, I want to do a quick check over here with the Guardian. Now, what I'm thinking essentially is that now that my food has depleted down to 3, I can essentially move 3 more rounds worth before I start taking starvation damage, which I'd like to try to avoid. Now, as of right now, I'm looking around the map and I'm not seeing too many quests that I really want to go for yet. Now, this one's interesting because it's super close to me, and it is a bounty quest. So basically, I'm in the city that is talking about the Iron Citadel. I'm located here. You don't have to be in there. I mean, that's what happened here. But it's really cool that I'm actually in this city, and this is the city, Iron Citadel, where there was a posted bounty for the Gray Slime, which basically currently resides in this location. Now, the Gray Slime is level 2. I haven't even beat a level 1 yet, and I really don't think my characters after one battle are strong enough to go after a level 2 boss. And I don't want to put them in a situation where they're going to get absolutely hammered. So to me, that particular bounty is good, but I just need a little bit more to push myself in that direction. Now, if you look at all the different quests I got a K, C, F, H, and A. So A and C are the only 2 quests out of the 5 that are even on the board, and that's kind of limiting my options because I'm already on the far right side now, and if I don't want to do that one, I've got to travel, probably, if I'm traveling even with my increased movement, 5, and then another 5, and then one, like, it's going to take me a long time to get over there, and I'd rather not waste all the food and time if I can potentially recycle the quest areas. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to probably use a luck stone because I have 1 luck stone remaining that I bought at the beginning of the game. And the luck stone you can use to basically, and I'll show you guys here from the market exactly the wording. We've done this before. But use a stone to re-roll any 1 die or discard and redraw up to 3 open circumstances or quests. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to wipe away this luck stone. And of course, we may want to venture towards our central city again to try to buy more of them because they're obviously useful. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trash the dual. I'm going to trash the H, F, and K, all the ones that are not currently on the board yet. Now, also realize, guys, that I could have, or could have, if I wanted to, move to the edge of a tile to try to reveal another area. And I don't have any problem with that, but I would like to try to recycle this and hope to get more on these tiles than ones off in the distance. So that's kind of the gamble I'm going for right now. But I want to let you know that I am thinking eventually of exploring off into the sides as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to move ahead with replenishing the quest bar here. So we're going to go ahead with the first one. Hey, we got lucky. The first one's an invasion at B. So the invasion at Rock 2. So this is a 3. Where's 3 on this thing? That's way up here. So that's actually not bad. So at least that's something. It's still pretty far away. But it's something. So there's an invasion. That's similar to what we just did when we dealt with the invasion at 5. So maybe that's something we could potentially handle. Explore on A. I don't think we've ever done an explore, and it's on the tile we're on, so that's cool. We get critical success. Looks like we gained something. We got challenges on there. That looks good. Happy with that. Where is that? So we're going to look at this hex. Looks like it's kind of got like a mage tower kind of thing going on. So is that it? Right in the middle? That's not bad. That's not too far away. So that's just outside of our main starting town. Hey, and at least... So now we've kind of got a cooler pattern here in terms of quests because we could, make use of a couple quick stops basically to hit a few more, and we still got 1 more to go. So here's hoping. Quest arc. Okay, what the heck is a quest arc? Draw 2. I actually didn't get this in my plays off camera. Draw 2. Draw 2 additional quests and place them on top of this card face down. Flip over the card on top to show your first quest. Interesting. You must complete each quest before you can turn in the arc. The arc and all attached quests count as 1 quest at turn in. When you turn in the arc, collect the bounty for each quest card, including the bounty for the arc. Okay, so basically it's just a giant stackable thing that just becomes a monster when you complete it, and you get the bonus of a power card and some extra money. That's really cool. So we're going to draw 2 additional quests, place them on top of this card face down. So I'm going to take 2 cards off the top of the deck, and I'm going to place them face down right on top. Just like that. And I'll leave it so that the quest arc piece is sticking up so that we remember that this is like a rotating kind of thing. And then I'm going to flip this over, and this is going to be our first one. It's a navigate, and it's on C. So we actually have this one on the board too. That's awesome. So this one is an elven scout has been sent to the area to investigate signs of a storm wolf pack. Obtain the scout's report and bring it back to the city. Okay, we got to figure out where that is. It's on C. So where would that be? I think that's this one right here, if I'm not mistaken. C goes all the way up here. Yeah, could it be this one? No, it's not. It is this one. Okay, wow, very cool. Wow, we've definitely got options now, guys. We're obviously on the wrong side of the board, apparently. But the good thing is everything in our quest bar now is something we can do. So we now have to decide where we're going. Okay, after taking a quick look over the quests, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here with the Explore one here. Let's go ahead and read this because I think you guys are going to think this is really cool. Now, this one actually ties into this particular location right here, which is kind of the more central spot to go to. Again, we want to avoid this boss for now, but if I go here, at least I have options. I'm basically within a day's travel either, from any direction. Let's read this so you're going to get an idea of what we're going towards. But basically, it's a powerful Magi used to dwell in the crumbling tower. For centuries, no one has seen her. A human scholar has translated the riddle that may unlock the tower's upper chamber. Go there and poke around. Challenge. Once you gain entry into the upper chamber, you may choose to camp here. If you do, roll the quest die again. If any hero rolls a 1, each hero gains a +2 bonus to their secondary mastery. Cool. And the group may make use of the teleportation circle. Oh wow, they got a teleportation circle there to move anywhere on the map next turn. That is awesome. That's really cool. And it looks like if you could roll a critical success, there's also a bonus as well on top of it. That's really good. So this looks awesome from the standpoint of, does the teleportation happen either way? Yeah, and the group may make use of the teleportation circle to move anywhere on the... So this is great because we can get here with the amount of food we have and then just automatically be teleported to whichever one we think is best from there. So let's do that. Can we get there in one turn? No, but what we could do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to use normal movement to get back to the city. And then once we're in the city, we could go from the city up to the next one from there. So let's go ahead and actually do that. Let's go 5 back to the city. So we're going to use normal movement. So we're moving normally. The hero is going to begin at a rate of... We normally begin our movement at a rate of 4, but as we know from our battle map up here, it's a 5 because of our increase because we have reliable mounts. So we're going to go ahead and move. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back to the city. We're going to have to go ahead and roll a bunch of dice now for all of our skills. And when you use normal movement, you have to roll all 3 of your skill dice. So let's go ahead and do that for the Guardian. I'm going to roll all 3 of them. And remember, the stats for the Guardian are right there. So 4, 2, 3. We're looking to match those or be under them. We're also trying to avoid wandering. That's bad. Oh geez, okay, those were relatively high rolls. We actually failed on every single one of them, so that's really not good for the Guardian. And then here's hoping that the Summoner can bail us out. The Summoner actually has worse stats to hit, 1, 3, and 2, because the Guardian was the one that got that nice upgrade in the last video that got the skills up a little higher. Oh, we got a goal. Oh man, this is bad. So I think we're going to end up wandering, which is too bad. So let's go ahead here and resolve all the dice in order. All right, here are the dice all laid out in order. So the first one we're going to do for both of them is the Navigate skill. So as we know, we're rolling to try to either meet or be under our Navigate, which we didn't on the Guardian, and we also did not on the Summoner. We got a 10 and a 1. So the Navigate was a complete and utter fail. If we happen to do this, we only need one of our heroes to actually make that roll. So we're going to have to wander here, sadly. So we're going to roll the Hex die to use this pattern right here to determine how we're wandering. We got a 4, so that's going to actually send us away from where we want to be a little bit. So now we're actually outside of... We didn't actually make it to the city. So we'll put this Hex die back in its spot. And that resolves the Navigate. For Explore, we have a fail over here from the Guardian. Needed a 2 in order to succeed. Over here we have a critical success, which is awesome. So the Summoner, again, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Summoner that was always finding gold. Maybe it was the Guardian. I'm starting to forget. But regardless, the Summoner just found some money, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead here real quick, and we've now added 2 to the Summoner's gold, which is great. The other thing that happens when you get a hex here is that we find a really, really good place to camp. So we're going to camp here for basically as part of this roll because we got a success. It's not part of the movement. It doesn't mean that you're going to get the benefits of the camp action. It just means if you roll a critical success on the yellow die, you find an excellent place to camp, and each hero regains 1 lost health. Now, that's not going to help us right now because our heroes are both maxed out on health, so we're okay there. Then we're going to move over to the next one, which is survival. We failed both of our survival checks. I just barely failed this one. So we have to consume food equal to our food rating, so I'm going to have to knock this one down to 2, and then come over here to the summoner, and the summoners will be reduced by 2 for the first time, down to 8. So let's see. Just to there. All right, so we're doing okay, and that's going to basically resolve the skill phase. So because of our wandering and the fact we didn't actually land in the city and we ended up wandering off outside of the city, we're actually going to have to go through the circumstance phase because otherwise we would go through the city phase, and that would be totally separate. If you go and end your movement on a city, you skip to the event, but we have to deal with the circumstance because we found ourselves out in the wild. So we're going to have to roll a 6-sided die, which I have here, to figure out which circumstance is going to happen. I got a hex. Oh, gee, this is not going to be good. So basically, these 5 are laid out for us. We know what they are. We don't know what's on top of this, so we're going to pull it and find out exactly what we're dealing with. Oh, we found kobolds. So we got an enemy that has found us. This is not good. So we're going to have to deal with a battle. All right, we're all set up for a battle. So I've gone ahead and I've put the enemy's health as well as the energy here. Again, it's a difficulty 1. It's just kobolds. It should be pretty easy. Thematically, basically, we moved from this city in a normal way. And by doing so, we made so much noise, we ended up wandering and getting a little lost and stuck outside the city. And maybe on our way by making so much noise, we attracted these kobolds, and we were just about to make it into the city, wandered just a little bit outside. Now we have to deal with them. They're not that tough, as I mentioned, so we should be able to clear them pretty fast. So let's go ahead through the combat right now. We're going to declare our actions. I'm going to choose for the Guardian to just focus on using the cleave attack, the basic attack. It won't drain any energy. And then the summoner over here can do a 4 attack, and that would be enough with 7 to make a full kill on the kobolds. So that's going to be 7 total damage, which isn't bad at all. The first thing we need to do, though, next, at least in the second phase of the combat round, is the opponent actions. So basically at this particular time, we're going to roll a 6-sided die to determine what the kobolds are going to be doing. So we got a 2 that's going to land at the very beginning. So it says dual target health. So that sounds to me like it's going to be 2 individuals that are going to be attacked there. So if I'm not mistaken, dual target health, that's going to be 2 individuals, would be my guess. So 2 individuals are going to get hit for 2. That would be both of my characters for combat damage or health damage. So we're going to go ahead and I'll reduce their vitals, and then we're going to actually do this during the resolution phase, which is right now. So let's reduce our health to 6. And then we're going to come over here to the summoner, and we're going to reduce our health down to 5. Like so. And then we're of course going to be actually putting our damage on, so it's going to be a 3 hit with the cleave is going to bring down to 1, and then another hit for 4 is going to bring it to -3. So the kobolds are dead very quickly, though that didn't take too much, but they were a really easy opponent. We don't even need to go to the next combat round. As a group, we're going to gain 3 gold each, which is fantastic. So let's put a quick 3 gold in there for them, and then over here this will turn into 5. It looks like 52, but I've crossed out the 2. Alright, so that's not bad. We don't get any food from this though, as it's a 0, so that's too bad. I was hoping for something a little better that way. But it didn't pan out. So this has now been resolved. We can remove this card out of the way. Now, the crazy thing was that was just a result of the circumstance. That wasn't even anything else besides that, but at least we got through the circumstance phase. All right, and to end out the round, now the Dead King activates. Well, not technically, because he's not on the board, but he's going to roll to attempt to reveal himself in the land. So we're going to be grabbing the hex die. We're going to be incrementing it another point up. So basically 4 hex and 5 will bring the Dead King into the game. So here's hoping that that does not happen. 3. We got super lucky there, so he's still sitting in the shadows and will not be coming out during this particular round. And just like that, we've wrapped up another round of HEXplore It. So as you can see here, we're very, very close to the next quest that we're aiming for, which is that tower, that mage tower. If we can get there and potentially complete it and teleport to where we want to go next, that would be fantastic. Food-wise, we're not doing too bad. The Guardian's getting a little low, but remember, anytime outside of combat, as long as you're not in combat, you can always trade your food. So I can always have the Summoner actually give some food to the Guardian because the Summoner has more of it right now, even though the Summoner consumes more. In order to balance things out and keep us out running around looking for more quests. All right, let's jump right into the second round of this video. So we're gonna go ahead, and my plan is, and this is kind of, I'm gonna tell you guys this up front so that you guys know kind of what I'm thinking. Now, we have these really cool abilities here that I've rewritten because we don't want to forget about them. They're called camping gear. I've shortened it to camp gear. Now, technically, I told you about this earlier on, but I wanted to write it out in a way that we kind of remember it. So what it's showing here might look confusing or look like Doctor's Scratch, but basically this is 1 health and 1 energy. So essentially with camping gear, how it works is just before the movement phase, you can heal 1 health and 1 energy from your character. So that's really cool. So I could technically take advantage of that right now. Before I move. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So really the only thing that's going to actually increase on my character, for the Guardian anyway, is going to be my health. So this is going to tick back up to 7. And it's basically because we have camping gear, so it allows my character to get a good night's rest in between, and now our health is at 6. This is why that camping gear was really, really worth it for both my characters. Now, we're not at full health, and something else that we really need to think about as well is we're gunning to go for this tower here. That's what I'm trying to get to, which is currently right here. Now, in order to make this work, I need to be really good at rolling successes on explorers because I need 2 successes. And as you can see, my Guardian is really poor at rolling successes on the Explorer, whereas my Summoner is kind of a little bit better. But you can see the cost to upgrade that skill is only 3, and we gained 5 gold in the last encounters, and so we have some things to spend on both. We have enough actually to up both skills by 1 to make our rolls a little bit more hopeful in exploring this tower, because once we get there, we need to get those 2 successes to even be able to do the challenge and then to move forward. And then hopefully get to a portal that's going to allow us to move elsewhere in the land. So the first thing we want to do is choose where we want to move. Now normally I would choose to move straight to this location right away, but because we need to upgrade our skills in a city, I'm going to have to actually head to the city. Now this time I'm going to be moving cautiously, and normally we would only have 1 movement, but as we know from prior, we actually have an additional movement now, so we can move up to 2, but we only need 1 anyway, so we are inside of the Restwindale yet again. So now we've entered the city. Of course, at this particular time, we still have to go ahead and roll for our skills. We went ahead and did cautious movement, so it's going to be a blue and a yellow die, and then we're going to resolve those. So we'll take the blue and yellow for the Guardian, give them a roll. We got a 3 and a 4, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to roll for the Summoner, a 10 and a 4. Okay, so how did this all pan out in the end? Well, in terms of the Explorer die, which is this one right here, this one was a fail, sadly. So I was just outside of my what I needed to get in order to meet that, so I'm not going to find any kind of gold or treasure. Come over here to the Summer, exact same thing. I got a 4, and 3 was my stat, so I needed to get 3 or lower, so that's not going to happen. I've got 2 dice left over here. One of them actually landed a 3, which meets my skill for survival. Now the cool thing with that is I don't have to consume any food from my Guardian during this particular leg of the trip. So that's awesome. Whereas the Summoner completely failed, and because of that is going to have to consume 2 food. So we're going to knock the Summoner from 8 down to 6. There we go. All right, that was actually worked out pretty good because we're running more so low on the Clarissa's food than we are on the Tempest right now. So we'll see how this goes. But now at this point, we've resolved the skills, and because we are on a city, we're going to be going right into the city right away. So we're going to skip past the circumstance phase. Now again, going into a city, because we are in Restwind Dale, we have this, you may purchase luck stones for 1 gold here. We know this from the beginning of the playthrough. We also have this section up here that also tells us how to go about what we can do in the city. So we skip the circumstances, as I said. The group may choose to pay 1 gold total to heal all lost health and energy. I'm not going to bother with that because as we travel with our camp gear, we're going to get that 1 up for free. So there's no point in spending the gold in the city to do that. It says heroes may purchase gear upgrades and items from the marketplace while in the city. That is what I want to do. So let's go ahead and up our stat for exploring. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this stat from 2. We're going to make this a 3. I'm going to spend my 3 gold on the Guardian. So sorry about that. That was the worst looking 3 I've ever done. That's terrible. Let's see if I can do that better. There we go. So of course that's going to cost me my 3 gold. So now I have no money left on the Guardian. Coming over here to the Summoner, exact same thing. I'm going to bump this up, but this will be going to a 4. So that's a little bit better. Let's see here. And I actually will have some leftover money as well. So that's kind of cool. So I come over here to my gold, and I technically will have 2 left. So let's just scratch this out and put a 2. Now, I could technically spend this on some other things, and it would make sense to spend it on rations, because rations currently are something that we're low in, especially on the Guardian, can only handle 2 more of those fails on the survival die, which is the blue one, before we start going into the negatives of starving. And if we're going to try to journey anywhere and go through a portal, we should try to build up as much as we can. So I'm going to go ahead with the Summoner action. I'm going to spend 2, or spend 1, I should say, in order to buy some rations. So let's go over here to the marketplace, which is where we're currently going to go. We're going to take a look, and it says we've got rations here. So each ration purchased for 2 units of food. 4 food can be sold back for 1 gold. So I'm going to definitely go ahead and fill up as much as I can carry, which is actually it's perfect because 2 gold will actually bring my food all the way up to 10. Now remember, I can and that removes all my money. And remember though, I can still trade food within the party. So you can still, even though my other character doesn't have any money, I can still, when I'm not in combat, I can trade some of my food over from the Summoner to the Guardian, and we can do that based on maybe whether or not there's some bad rolling that comes into effect from that survival check as we go along. So now we're going to go ahead with the Dead King's turn. So this is where the Dead King is going to have a chance to come back out on the board, but now the Dead King can come out on a 3, a 4, a 5, or a hex. So his chances are really high now. So here we go. If I land a 1 or a 2, it'll be the best day ever. I got a hex. So I knew that was going to happen. Okay, so basically at this particular point, the Dead King has finally revealed himself, tragically. We're going to have to roll another d6 to find out which city he's going to start in, and I'm really hoping he doesn't happen to land the city we currently are in, because that would be bad. Here we go. We got a 1. Okay, so a 1 is right here. So this is where the Dead King is going to start. This city automatically falls to the Dead King the second he comes out. So just like that, the Dead King has taken down that city. First off, the first nasty thing that happens is that particular city becomes unusable for us to use for any kind of benefit or even to visit unless we try to reclaim it. So this is something we're going to want to do because, as we talked about in the past, the Dead King movement as a standard when the Dead King is out and about is 1, but once he takes over a fallen city, his movement increases by 1, so now his movement is 2, so he's moving a little bit quicker now, and he's going to be heading to his next target. So the next time the Dead King activates, now that he's on the board in another full game round, we're going to be going ahead and determining by a die roll where the Dead King is going to be targeting next, which is going to be this token here. We'll be placing it on whichever city he's heading towards. So he is going to be kind of close to us, which is nasty. We're going to have to try to avoid him, but again, if we go here and we are successful, we do have the ability to use a portal and things like that, and his focus mainly right now is taking out cities, not us. So that's going to basically wrap up the end of this round. Alright guys, that's going to end the episode right here. So thank you so much for watching to this point. We are definitely going to be continuing our journey to take out the Dead King now that he has revealed himself over there. And which city, by the way, has he taken of ours? He took number 1. So the City of Silver is the one that he has taken. So it looks like it's no longer led by the Council of the Wind. They have been destroyed. And currently the Dead King owns that particular city. So we'll be looking to maybe reclaim that in a potential potential later round. So what I want you guys to do in the comments below is let me know what your strategy is at this point. What would you do if you had these quests on the board? You've heard my thoughts about going here and attempting to explore it, unlocking with 2 successes and moving forward, potentially getting a portal and maybe jumping in a portal to a space. That's the benefit with this challenge, is if we happen to explore or get the 2 successes, we can optionally do a challenge that would then allow us access to a portal. And that portal would then allow us to jump anywhere, which would be fantastically, well, it'd be very advantageous for us to do so because we don't have to do any type of major traveling. We might even be able to jump ourselves right to a fallen city and try to reclaim that fallen city. But I want to know what you guys think. I already kind of have an idea in my head as to something we could do, but there's so many options out here and there's so many quests. So which quest do you think we should go for? Am I right to be heading towards this one here in the middle? Should I change my mind? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know your guys' feedback. One last thing I want to mention before we wrap this video up is if you have not jumped in on the HEXplore It Valley of the Dead King Deluxe Kickstarter giveaway that I'm doing, I'm giving away 4 copies of the game. It's going to be awesome. It's probably the highest odds that you guys have ever had in a giveaway because I've never given away anything that's more than just 1. So 4 is incredible, and I'm really excited to be able to list off 4 individual names, and of course they all have to be different. You cannot win multiple copies in that particular giveaway, but I recommend if you haven't heard of it or you haven't entered yet, check the description below for the link. That'll link you right there for a quick, easy entry to get in on the draw. It should end, if I'm not mistaken, in the later portion of April, but not too late. So you think you have about a week to a week and a half from this current video release, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So thanks again, guys, for your support. I'm doing this on behalf of you guys, and I really want the giveaway to be a big thank you back to you guys. So again, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you so much, and as always, keep on rolling solo.